Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. First today, in an article from the Gateway Pundit, ex-clown chief John Brennan explodes after Trump accuses him of lying to Congress. Former clown chief turned Twitter troll John Brennan attacked President Trump over the weekend again. Brennan exploded after President Trump accused the former clown chief of lying to Congress. President Trump reacted to Mueller's indictment of Roger Stone and asked what will be done about Comey, Brennan, Clapper, and others for lying to Congress. Trump tweeted, if Roger Stone was indicted for lying to Congress, what about the lying done by Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Lisa Page and her lover, Baker, and so many others? What about Hillary to the FBI and her 33,000 deleted emails? What about Lisa and Peter's deleted texts and Weiner's laptop? Much more. We covered that a little bit in some earlier broadcasts, but we did not cover this. Brennan exploded after Trump accused him of lying to Congress. Brennan tweets out, your cabal, very interesting he used that word, of unprincipled, unethical, dishonest, and sycophantic cronies is being methodically brought to justice. We all know where this trail leads. If your utter incompetence is not enough to run you out of office, your increasingly obvious political corruption surely will. I take issue with that, John Brennan. As always, John Brennan is projecting because he is the one who perjured himself in a public testimony about the dossier. Paul Sperry reported via Real Clear Investigations. In his May 2017 testimony before the intelligence panel, Brennan emphatically denied the dossier factored into the intelligence community's publicly released conclusion last year that Russia meddled in the 2016 election to help Trump's chances of victory. Brennan also swore that he did not know who commissioned the anti-Trump research document, even though senior national security and counterintelligence officials at the Justice Department and FBI knew the previous year that the dossier was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign. Brennan's fingerprints are all over the Spygate scandal, says Paul Sperry. Right here, Paul Sperry says, Brennan plus GCHQ, Brennan plus Fusion Cell plus Obama briefs, Brennan plus Strzok plus ICA, Brennan plus congressional briefings on dossier, Brennan plus Harry Reid plus pressuring Comey, Brennan plus Nellie Orr, and on and on and on. That's right, John Brennan is the one who is projecting here. He's looking in a mirror when he looks at President Trump and he sees these things being said because he is the one who did them. President Trump is not the one who's in trouble. John Brennan is the one who's in trouble. Now, we had that little tidbit of information yesterday from FBI Anon, and we've got something else that I want to follow up along the lines of that post as well. So another Anon put together these posts from FBI Anon and Donald Trump. This is another post from 4chan. You can tell it's FBI Anon, or the individual claiming to be FBI Anon, should I say, because they have the same user ID. But they said, I will give you one more clue. Trump just posted on Twitter, the axe will fall. He knows. And President Trump had stated that axe falls quickly at BuzzFeed and HuffPost, headline New York Post. Fake news and bad journalism have caused a big downturn. Sadly, many others will follow. The people want the truth. And here we have a tweet from Chloe Angel. She is someone that worked at HuffPost and was fired. She says, like so many talented and lovely journalists, I was laid off today. If you're in the market for an opinion editor with a huge and diverse Rolodex, or a columnist with 10 years of writing about gender politics and a literal PhD in romantic comedies under her belt, talk to me at HuffPost. Now, maybe she didn't work at HuffPost. Maybe she worked someplace else. But she was definitely fired. And in response, McDonald's posts. McDonald's is hiring Chloe. Sounds like all of your skills will be perfect behind the counter. And I know that in my story yesterday, we talked about the fact that the State of the Union has been moved to February 5th, 2019. My friend Ron Burtka posted that State of the Union 2/5/19, 2 + 5 + 1 + 9 equals 17. Do you think that's a coincidence? I tend to think not. And my friends, M2 Madness Methods on Twitter also posted this. Anybody else wondering if our favorite Anon was referring to Roger Stone when talking to Maggie? In post 2661, it's quoted here, "A stone sits idle while the world around it evolves. Evolution, depending on the stage, can be deadly. We can talk through code or we can act through transparency. The choice is yours." So the stone, a stone sits idle. Is that a message about Roger Stone and the information he has? We'll have to find out, but I think that would be pretty awesome. Maggie Haberman, known to speak in code on Twitter. And from January 23rd, it was updated on January 24th, this is from a local Arkansas affiliate of a news station. Kelly O'Neill reports that Arkansas federal grand jury was canceled due to the shutdown. Well, what grand juries do we know are operating in Arkansas right now? That would probably be the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton grand juries. But right here it says, it's day 33 of the government shutdown, and the grand jury session for January in the Western District of Arkansas has been dismissed. The grand jury meets every 5 to 6 weeks to determine whether or not there is probable cause to support charges that are filed by the United States Attorney's Office. However, because of the shutdown and the lack of resources, the cases that would normally be presented to the grand jury for indictment in January will have to be resolved in other ways. Criminal defendants will have the option to waive indictments by a grand jury, or in certain extreme cases where they feel they have to arrest someone immediately and take the case to a judge to determine if there's probable cause to move forward. U.S. attorneys for the Western District of Arkansas, Dak Keys, says it's a creative short-term fix. No criminal is getting let out of jail because of the shutdown. If the criminal needs to be arrested, we're going out there and arrest him. We are going to investigate them. We're going to prosecute them. Nothing is going to change because of this. We are just having to use other avenues to approach this, Keys said. Keys says if the government shutdown continues, he will have to have a serious conversation on prioritizing cases in another 2 weeks. No one in this office is getting paid, and the court process is being slowed down because tools and resources that it used daily are now taken away. Despite all this, Keys says while the government shutdown hurts, his office will find new ways of getting the job done. Now, coincidentally, it was just 2 days later after this story was posted that President Trump announced the deal to reopen the government temporarily until the deal on the border wall can be made. So was that decision made so that we could continue the federal grand juries taking place in Arkansas? Was President Trump looking for justice to be served in the cases related to Bill and Hillary Clinton? Only time will tell. All right, so yesterday, my video where I talked about that thread from Twitter, which talked about the Hillary Clinton crimes, various different types of crimes. You know, I said that I could accept that she wasn't going to be charged for the email crimes. And a lot of people got very upset with me. They questioned my patriotism, and they, basically, were up in arms. What's wrong with you? How can you say that? I don't have to like something to accept it. I don't have to believe that Hillary Clinton is, in the right, or that she is, not deserving of charges or punishment for the things she's done. But what I meant was that I could accept the fact that she was not going to be charged for the email crimes because Barack Obama tacitly approved of them by his use of her private email system. Now, just because she's not being charged with crimes for the email system does not mean that she will not be charged for other crimes, for other more serious crimes. I don't believe there is a statute of limitations on treason, but in this article that I've got here from the World Tribune, it's called As Statute of Limitations for Hillary Felonies Expires, FBI reopens probe of Foundation. Now, this is from a year ago, January 5th, 2018, and I didn't vocalize this last night. The statute of limitations has expired on the crimes of her carrying out an unsecured private server, her private server running from the bathroom of her home. But there is no statute of limitations on the treason of her giving access to that private server from the Chinese. I firmly believe that she will be charged with those crimes. Now, it may be difficult for some people to understand, well, how I can say that. Some people were like, how can you look yourself in the mirror and say that it's okay that Hillary's going to get away with this stuff? Well, it's not okay. I don't like it, all right? But I can accept that she's not being charged with one specific crime, all right, because I believe she will be charged with other crimes. As I just said, there is no statute of limitation on treason. All right. I believe that she will be charged with other felonies and with other high crimes and misdemeanors. But let's take a look at this. Now, I just talked about the grand jury investigations, the federal grand jury in Little Rock, and speculated on whether or not Trump reopened the government, as one thing, as a reason because of those grand juries. But a year ago, the World Tribune says that FBI agents in Little Rock are active in a renewed investigation into whether the Clinton Foundation engaged in pay-for-play politics or other illegal activities while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, a report said. Law enforcement officials speaking on a condition of anonymity told The Hill that the FBI is investigating whether the Clintons promised or performed any policy favors in return for largesse to their charitable efforts, or whether donors made commitments of donations in hopes of securing government outcomes. The statute of limitations on most federal felonies is 5 years, and Clinton left office in early 2013. The probe may also examine whether any tax-exempt assets were converted for personal or political use, and whether the foundation complied with applicable tax laws, the officials told The Hill. One witness who was questioned by the FBI told The Hill the interview was extremely professional and unquestionably thorough, and focused on questions about whether donors to Clinton charitable efforts received any favorable treatment from the Obama administration on a policy decision previously highlighted in media reports. Nick Merrill, Clinton's chief spokesman, blasted the FBI for reopening the case, calling it disgraceful and suggesting it was nothing more than a political distraction from special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Let's call this what it is, a sham, Merrill said. This is a philanthropy that does life-changing work which Republicans have tried to turn into a political football. It began with a now long-debunked project spearheaded by Steve Bannon during the presidential campaign. It continues with Jeff Sessions doing Trump's bidding by heeding his calls to meddle with a department that is supposed to function independently. The Wall Street Journal reported late last year that several FBI field offices, including the one in Little Rock, had been collecting information on the Clinton Foundation for more than a year. Several Republican members of Congress have recently urged Attorney General Jeff Sessions to appoint a special counsel to examine issues surrounding the Clintons. Meanwhile, officials said the Justice Department is taking another look into whether there are any unresolved issues from Hillary Clinton's mishandling of classified information through her personal email server. Now, again, Hillary Clinton had unsecured private server that transmitted classified and special access program intelligence, and that is unforgivable. All right, she should be prosecuted for all of these crimes, but if she did it intentionally, that is tantamount to treason. And I believe that just the existence of her private email server, if the statute of limitation has surpassed on that particular crime, she can still be prosecuted for the intentional transmission of that information. Now, officials' questions include how much classified information was sent over Clinton's server, who put that information into an unclassified document, and how, and which investigators knew about these matters and when. Officials also have questions about immunity agreements that Clinton aides may have made. Stephen Boyd, who heads the Justice Department's Office of Legislative Affairs, appeared to hint at the department's interest in Clinton's emails in a letter to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte on November 13th. In the letter, Boyd wrote that Sessions directed senior federal prosecutors to evaluate certain issues the chairman was concerned about. He also wrote that those prosecutors would make recommendations as to whether any matters not currently under investigation should be opened, and that they would send those recommendations directly to the Attorney General and his top deputy, Rod Rosenstein. All right, so that's the end of that article. So I just wanted to point out that there is still investigations ongoing, and I truly do believe that they are being done in the most calculated, thorough way that they possibly can be, because President Trump knows that these cannot have any mistakes in them, okay? They must be slam dunks all the way, because that's the only way that a certain portion of the public is going to accept them. Now, knowing this, and knowing what I've said previously about these thorough ongoing investigations, I want to bring your attention to something that a little birdie just sent me, one of my sources. This is the Department, the Office of the Inspector General's website at the U.S. Department of Justice. And what is this? Today released an investigative summary of findings of misconduct by 2 current senior FBI officials and 1 retired FBI official while providing oversight on an FBI contract. All right, so the investigative summary states findings of misconduct by 2 current senior FBI officials and 1 retired official. Let's think about who those could be while providing oversight on an FBI contract. The Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General, initiated this investigation upon the receipt of information from the Federal Bureau of Investigation concerning multiple allegations involving an FBI contractor and 3 FBI officials. The OIG found that as a result of conduct by 2 current senior FBI officials and 1 retired FBI official, the FBI contractor engaged in certain inherent governmental activities in contravention of federal acquisition regulations. Additionally, the OIG found that these 3 FBI officials did not adhere to Office of Management and Budget policy while managing the contractor. Further, the OIG found that the FBI contractor failed to adhere to personal conflict of interest rules under the FAR. The OIG has completed its investigation and provided its report to the FBI for appropriate action. So who are these unnamed officials? All right, so who could this recommendation be for? Well, we know that recently there was the FBI raid on the home of Nathan Cain, the whistleblower who worked for an FBI contractor who supplied documents related to Clinton and Uranium One. So let's check out this article from Fox News. A former FBI contractor turned whistleblower who supplied documents related to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Uranium One controversy is blasting the FBI over a mysterious raid on his home last month. Questioning whether we now live in a police state, Dennis Nathan Cain took his frustration to Twitter on the heels of a report that the Justice Department is trying to keep the justification for the raid secret. We covered this yesterday. So I blow the whistle on the FBI, get raided by the same FBI, and now they want to keep the FBI's reasons secret. Do we now live in a secret police state? Feels a little like 1984, Cain tweeted on Monday, citing the Daily Caller report. The Daily Caller requested that the court unseal the search warrant materials, but the U.S. Attorney in the District of Maryland, in a court filing, said the request should be denied. Public disclosure of any search warrant materials would seriously jeopardize the integrity of the ongoing investigation, the court filing of the U.S. Attorney's Office said. Continued sealing is essential in order to guard against possible tampering of witnesses and destruction of evidence, to maintain the ability of the grand jury to investigate this matter, and to prevent the disclosure of sensitive investigative techniques and methods. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney in the District of Maryland declined to comment. 16 FBI agents raided Cain's home on November 19th. His lawyer, Michael Sakaris, told the Daily Caller that the agent who led the raid accused his client of possessing stolen federal property. In response, Cain reportedly claimed that he was a protected whistleblower under federal law and said he was recognized as such by the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz, the same agency that just recommended charges for these 3 FBI individuals. Sakaris also claimed that Horowitz had transmitted information on the sale of Canadian mining company Uranium One to a Russian firm subsidiary to both the House and Senate Intelligence Committees. The documents in question allegedly show that federal officials failed to investigate possible criminal activity related to Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and Rosatom, the Russian nuclear company whose subsidiary purchased Uranium One in 2013. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa, whose panel has oversight of the Justice Department, also penned a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray and Horowitz recommending information on the justification for the raid of Cain's home. Grassley gave Wray and Horowitz until December 12th to respond to his request. An FBI spokesperson and a spokesperson for the Inspector General declined to comment. As frustrating and violating as this feels to me and my family, I will continue to put my trust in God. Someday this life will pass away. I will stand before my Maker with a clean conscience, and Jesus is my defender. Until then, I continue to fight the good fight with God's help, Cain tweeted Monday night. And I just want to point out that this is pretty much my philosophy for life, all right? I know that whatever God has in store for me, whatever his intentions, all right, they are perfect. They are perfect by design. They cannot be wrong. And I believe the same for the world and for the government and for these people that are about to stand before our courts and face justice. On Tuesday, he added that, "Thank you for the outpouring of encouragement. You are all awesome." A boxer goes into his corner to rest for a minute, refocus, and get some sideline coaching. Then the bell rings and he's ready to go another round. This fight is spiritual and God is in our corner. Ding, Romans 8:31. Fox News has previously reported that Douglas Campbell, an FBI informant involved in the Uranium One deal, has testified to lawmakers that Moscow paid millions to American lobbying firm APCO Worldwide to influence Clinton and the Obama administration. This contract called for 4 payments of $750,000 over 12 months, Campbell said in his statement this past Friday. APCO was expected to give assistance free of charge to the Clinton Global Initiative as part of their effort to create a favorable environment to ensure the Obama administration made affirmative decisions on everything from Uranium One to the U.S.-Russia Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. APCO has denied Campbell's claims, while Clinton called any claims of wrongdoing related to the Uranium One deal the same baloney they've been peddling for years, and there's been no credible evidence by anyone. In fact, Clinton told C-SPAN in October of 2017, it's been debunked repeatedly and will continue to be debunked. It has not been debunked. All right? There are whistleblowers. They have provided information, several of them, and I believe that it's very possible this OIG recommendation is directly related to that. So only time will tell. We are going to have to wait and see, but I am holding out hope that this is exactly what's going on. All right, I'm part of a fellowship that has taught me acceptance. It has allowed me to look at the world and know that I'm not in control. God is in control. Whatever God has in store, whatever his plan, I must accept it, because to fight against that is futile. All right, so anybody who is angry at me about yesterday, I suggest that you just take my words that I've just said to heart and think about what that means. Because my life, the way that I live it, is so much easier, and I am able to survive because I accept the way things are. And I accept that God is going to do what he needs to do for me, for us, for even the Clintons. All right, and that doesn't mean they're going to get off. I don't believe they're going to get off. I believe that they will be charged, they will be indicted, they will be brought before the court, and they will see justice carried out. All right, and I have a post here that was sent to me by my buddy Tactical Shed on Twitter. I'm going to read through this, and I'm going to use some coded language. This is a post on 8chan, and it says, I am someone close to a particular Supreme Court justice and have decided to come here to tell you the truth about what is happening, because I fear there is going to be massive unrest once the whole nation finds out what has been hidden from them. You can call me Lindsay B for future reference, not my real name, obviously. This SCJ is not dead like others have suggested. She is in a medically induced coma at an undisclosed location. The SCJ is deathly ill with pneumonia and has multiple infections related to her recent lung cancer surgery and the accident that fractured her ribs. Big players on the D side of things are doing everything they can to cover this up and keep the SCJ out of the spotlight and alive through life support if necessary. They do not want, under any circumstances, Trump picking another justice to serve on the SCOTUS. This would be devastating to their long-term plans, or so I have been told. They plan on continuing this charade until the 2020 election and will casually announce she has passed away after a new Dem president gets into office. If Trump remains in office and wins re-election, I'm not sure what they'll do. The photo attached shows nurses moving the Supreme Court justice over on her side so she does not get bed sores. It's the best I can do at the moment. The same Anon posts, yes, I took the photo. Like I said, I am very close to her. About the undisclosed location, I can tell you this much. She is currently located at a facility in the Nevada desert. Sorry, but I can't say more than that. And then they also say, a few folks around here are starting to look at me strangely. I'm not sure what's going on. Was the info I posted shared elsewhere? Still haven't had a chance to snap another photo. So perhaps this person got caught. This was on the 27th, the 28th, and the 28th. Okay. So, well, the dates are a little off. I don't know if this is true, but it rings true. So it very possibly could be, or it might not be. But this makes sense, and it ties in with the information that our favorite Anon has put out there, that she is being kept alive. She may or may not be dead, but I tend to think that it's more likely that they are going to stop at no cost to make sure that her soul remains in her body, and they would allow her to probably pass at just the right moment. But it is completely plausible that she's in a medically induced coma and they are keeping her alive. So we'll have to see what happens. All right, folks, that is all I have for you tonight. It is late, and I need to get this video coded and put out so that you guys can see this information. I just want to thank everyone for joining me. I hope that you can understand what I was talking about earlier with regards to Hillary Clinton and her crimes. Thank you so much again. My name is Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News.